All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel, One Degree, where we hope to raise the degree of humanity one degree at a time so that we all can live in a better world. I am Akashik, the Ancient of Days, and this is my brother Reedy, and we have reached commandment number 7. What do you think, bro?
Let's go. Let's go. I know it's not thou shalt, it's thou cannot. As much as I know from
Like your
Israel.
shirt says.
There is more than meets the eye.
Ah, I'm glad you surprised me, but I'm mad that I'm not. I don't have one. Now I got to order
Yeah,
one.
this is for you, man. I had to do this for you. It's not for them. It's for you, man.
I got to order one, man.
80s tees.
So
They
we're on commandment number 7. We got a couple more to go, and then we are moving on. But man, this has been a wonderful series, and hopefully gave you and the audience some aha moments and some revelations, and hopefully as you get these revelations, you're able to read the Bible differently, and things are starting to open up for people, which is why you and I are doing this channel in the
right,
first
right,
place.
right. If nobody else, it's changed my thinking completely. Especially on the Bible. And now
Yeah.
as I look at it, like you said, I read it so differently now.
Because like I told you to read James chapter 1 today,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it makes
yeah, yeah. It's way different than I've ever read it now. Just man, I'm. This was divine timing. This is when it was meant to be. I wasn't ready for
absolutely.
it before now, so
And this is something that'll last
grateful
even
for it.
long after we have transitioned from this body. These
Yeah,
videos will be here for people
yeah,
to take in, and hopefully, like I said, regardless, this ain't just for our generation. This is for our children, our grandchildren, and beyond. So this is why we're doing it. So anyway, let's get on with it. We are on the seventh commandment, Exodus 20 verses 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, this commandment is actually kind of not a commandment. It's more of a warning. It's not a commandment per se. It's more of a warning. Now, as I've always, tell everybody that the Bible is a book on consciousness. It's a book of symbolism. It's a book of allegories because the writers of the day didn't have the same knowledge and vocabulary, the same scientific knowledge, none of that we have today. So the only way that they could pass forth information, not having the same vocabulary as we have, is to write things in story and allegorical and symbols so that they could convey the messages for generations to come, because they didn't have maybe the correct terminology to say the things bluntly and outright. So this is one of those things where adultery, the word adultery doesn't necessarily mean the way adultery as we understand it. It's actually a symbol. And uh, so it takes on the essence of something else. Now, like always, in order to kind of prove that it doesn't mean, excuse me, my voice, in order to prove that it kind of doesn't mean adultery in the literal form, of course, I gotta say a couple of scriptures and bring up a couple of
yeah,
things
yeah,
to kind of prove my point. So if you look in the Old Testament, like King Solomon had, according to First Kings 11:3, he had 700 wives and 300 concubines.
yeah. Crazy.
So the concubines wasn't his wives. So if you take the Bible literally, he was servicing 1,000 women. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
tip my cap.
then you go in the Bible, it talks about the story of King David.
Mm,
According to the Bible, King David had 8 wives in Second Samuel 3 verses 2 verse 2 Samuel's 3 verses 2 through 5, it chronicles his wives and his kids. And then in Second Samuel chapter 5, verses 13, it talks about how when Jerusalem fell, he added more concubines and had kids with them. Then goes on further in Second Samuel's chapters 11 and 12. It talks about him falling in love with Bathsheba, who was married,
Yeah.
and he ended up sending her husband to the front line so he could get killed,
Yeah.
so that he could be with her. And out of that union came Solomon, who was the wisest man ever, and he had a thousand wives. And I can go on and on and on, but I'm just trying to show that in the Old Testament, adultery didn't necessarily mean the literal form of adultery. And even in today's world, you have certain religions where you can have as many wives as you want, as many wives as you can take care of, especially like in Utah. I'm not calling out any religions, but I'm just trying to show that in the Bible, it's full of symbolisms, and this word adultery is a symbolism, is posted to symbolize something. So, um, I guess then the question is what does adultery symbolize? So, adultery in the Old Testament, adultery and idolatry were interchangeable. So, anytime you said adultery or idolatry, when you read it in the Old Testament, they both mean the same thing, and what they mean is a turning away from source. So whenever you put faith in something outside of God, of the Father, of the husband, of in the New Testament, Christ consciousness, anything that you put above that, or if you turn to any false gods in the Old Testament, that means you were committing adultery. That was their way of saying adultery. And the fundamental essence of this is that to them, this was like Moses. He had to get the people. It meant literally for them, but it also was a symbol because then back then, if they picked up a stick, they just come out of Egypt. So if they picked up a stick and carved it, that could become a god to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the esoteric, it's a symbolism of a break from God. In the Old Testament, in Psalms, Proverbs, Song of Solomon, the symbol of adulterous woman is referring to the soul turning away and relying on anything other than God. And the main thing that the soul would turn away and be with other than God was the ego. And the ego is the ruler of the material world. And the ego has tricked us into believing that the material world is real. So when you are committing adultery, you are saying things like, I'm too old to do this. I'm stuck in my ways. I can't learn nothing new.
Mm.
I'm too old to start a YouTube channel because ain't nobody gonna watch it anyway.
Mm.
Um, I rely on this job. This is the only way I can make money. That is forgetting your union with source. That is committing adultery. So
Wow.
this is not necessarily a command, it's a warning to say that when you turn from source, when you rely on the material world, when you believe in the ego, then you are committing adultery. And when you commit adultery, then um, suffering will follow. Suffering has to follow. Um, and it says, oh man, I had this written down over here. I got to think. I want to say, it's like Roman something. Oh shoot, it slipped my mind. Anyway, it'll come back. But one of the scriptures in I want to say Romans for some reason, but it talks about I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
Yeah.
I think that's Romans, but I
I
would
think
have
it's
to look it up.
Philippians 4:13.
Is that what it is?
Think so.
Okay. And so that scripture is saying that when you stay faithful to the husband, because the husband is Christ consciousness, the husband is the divine father, the soul, which is what we are, the soul is the wife. So when the Christ consciousness stays in union with the soul, when the soul stays faithful to Christ consciousness, then all of reality is available to you. But when you cheat adultery on Christ consciousness and you rely on your five senses and you rely on what you see and you rely on the ego, then the only thing you have access is this the material realm. It's like your favorite scripture where Christ says, "Pray as if you already have it,
Yeah.
believing as you already have it, and then you'll get it."
Yeah.
When you believe in the Christ consciousness, when you rely on the Christ consciousness, then you live in the causal realm. You live in the end. When you rely on the ego, then you rely on only what you can see. So this text is more like a warning. It's not necessarily a command. It's warning you to stay in line. It's warning you to stay married. It's saying that if you have an adulterous relationship, if you cheat on the divine consciousness, if your soul turns and looks for answers outside of the Christ consciousness that's in you, then that's you're committing adultery. And if you do that, suffering will happen.
Hmm.
Very simple scripture, very simple explanation. What do you think?
Very misunderstood. Yeah, I feel like you nailed it, man. I didn't know where this was going. I really didn't research it. I wanted to hear it and I don't know, try to understand it with everybody else as they're watching it. Um, yeah, I mean, if we're, it makes sense that they say Christ is the husband of the church, or and the church is the
The
bride of
church
Christ.
meaning the body of
Yeah.
humanity.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, you seek ye first consciousness. You know
It's
what I
all
mean? So
about
it
consciousness,
all
Jay.
makes sense. Yeah. Oh, like as always, man. I'm
And
above
then
directing
like
you to.
um when you stay in union with Christ consciousness, then you believe in health, you believe in abundance, you know where your source is coming from. I'm gonna give you a story. I've never, even before I started this journey, I never accepted sickness. And you can ask, anybody who knows me, like I very rarely acquire anything because the ground is not fertile for that seed to grow in me. Even back when COVID was a big thing, and I acquired that virus or whatever, the only thing I had was a slight headache. Like I refused to accept sickness. And I remember my son Storm, he was always getting sick. He was in like seventh or eighth grade. He was always getting sick, and I said to him one day, I said, "Son," I said, "Do you ever see your dad sick?" He was like, "No." He said, "You ain't never sick." I said, "Do you know why?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't believe it."
Yeah.
And he like looked at me. I said, "I don't believe in sickness, so I don't accept it." And he looked at me, and then from that day on, he took on that belief. And you can ask him. He hardly ever gets sick because we're in union in that particular thing. I didn't even know it, but I was in a committed relationship with divine consciousness. I refused to accept sickness, so my body wasn't fertile grounds for that to happen. And this is chronicled in the whole story of Job is about this. The Job is about a man who, believed in the physical realm and had all of these things. And then, the Christ consciousness had a conversation with the ego. And this is all allegorical. And then Christ consciousness allowed the ego to strip Joel of all of these material things. And he was, sad and all this other stuff. And then in the end, when he found his Christ consciousness and stopped believing in the ego and Satan and all the things that was being done to him and put his faith in the union with Christ consciousness, then he got everything back in double and triple fold. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
how it was, you know.
Yeah.
There's a chapter, there's a scripture that kind of chronicles it. It's Job 36:11. Let me pull that up real fast. Job, I love phones. Job, at least when I need it for this. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. This it's when you stay married, when you don't commit adultery. Adultery is just symbolism for turning from the divine consciousness. Even when Christ, when the prostitute was about to be stoned, and he said, "Ye he without sin, throw the first stone." And then they all left, and he asked the lady, "Where's your accusers now?" And she says, "None is here, Lord." And he said, "Then I don't accuse you either. Go and don't sin again." That was allegory for don't turn from divine consciousness. You sin by getting out of alignment with divine consciousness. Once Christ brought you back in alignment, then don't do it again.
Hmm.
It's all allegorical, and
Yeah,
that's what this is talking about.
I like that you planted that seed in Storm's head and it grew. Yeah, just I mean, obviously you're his dad, so he looks up to you and listens to you. But you planted that seed that grew.
It did at an
Yeah,
early age. He was
yeah,
like in the seventh grade.
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I've always said that too. I never get sick. I
I don't
just
believe it, Jay.
yeah, yeah. Not that things haven't affected me for sure, but
Right.
I still I and now it means more to me when I say that. It means, I don't trust what I see. I trust what I know.
And it's like committing adultery. Like, say if you're down on your luck, you got $10 left,
Hmm.
and you cling to that $10 like, oh my God, like if I lose this last $10, man, I ain't got no money. You're committing adultery.
Yeah.
You're not relying on source. You're turning the faucet off. You're turning your blessing off. The best thing you can do when you're starting to run low on money is to find something that you give it to. So you trust in God in the end. Like you always say, live in the end. And you know that money will come back because a
Hmm.
closed fist can't receive money. Only an open hand can receive money.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. If you're committing adultery when you don't, when your soul turns from its source.
That's a fantastic example and explains it very well. Because I mean, a lot of people have been there. They've been in struggle, and their focus is on, I got to hold on to what I got. You know what I mean? I can't. I got to work some overtime. So their focus isn't on God, consciousness, and abundance, which is ours.
It's ours.
Yeah.
Miracles can only happen when you let them happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
And even if we don't see the way that it's going to happen, his ways are not our ways. His
mm,
thoughts are not our thoughts. The way that things happen. Somebody who owes you money that you done forgot about may come and, man, I know I owe you this 1,000, man. I've been meaning to pay you, man. I'm up now. Here you go. All kind of thing. Miracles just
yeah.
happen. You hear about it all the time, Jay.
Yeah. Don't
All the
worry
time.
about don't worry about the how. Just trust that it's done.
It's done.
It's
I
done.
love when you say that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely getting better with my words. I still slip up every now and then, but I correct myself right away. And I know the truth now.
This is the cruel trick that the ego is playing on us. And I hope people really get this and they wrap this around their head. When you're born with nothing. And when you die with nothing. In between that, the ego tricks you into believing that you own this, you own that, and you need all of these possessions and all this stuff. It's a trick of the ego to get you to believe that all of this stuff matters. But when you die with nothing and you leave everything behind, even your problems. You don't
Right.
take no problems with you
Right.
when you leave.
No.
So all of this is made up in our head. All these problems that we think mean something, all of these issues. I don't have no money. I got to pay this bill and all that other stuff. this is all an illusion, a trick of the ego because the ego wants to live. The ego wants to thrive. The ego wants you to believe that death is the end. So it gives you fear and then it turns you away from your source because you're so focused on these little issues and stuff. But when you die, none of that goes with you.
Right.
Everything you do from the time you're born to the time you die is borrowed. It's not ours.
Yeah. The ego tricks you into committing adultery.
The ego is the Satan that lives in all of us. It
Yeah.
tricked Eve, it tricked the divine mind to rely on the senses.
Good
That's
stuff,
the
man.
essence of this command. It's a
Good stuff.
warning. It's a warning. Do not commit adultery.
Amazing. How many we got left?
Eight. And you know what? Let me see what's next. Exodus. The next one is going to be. Are you ready for this? Oh, ooh, this is a good one. Thou shalt not steal. Now, this one is a command. This really means you cannot steal. I can't wait to talk about this one.
Hmm.
So that's gonna be next, Jay.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This has been awesome. I know you wish we wouldn't have started on this Ten Commandment thing, but it's helped me a lot, man. It's helped me with our other podcasts that we do where we're just talking. It's helped me understand more, and I need that. So this was perfect. This was God's divine timing. This is exactly how it was supposed to be. And it's how we change the world because it's done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, this will be here for long after that we are out of this matrix, after
Right.
we've had our experience. This will be here for the next generation, for our children, our children's children, so that they don't fall into the same traps that we fell into. I know we learned this at the divine time when we were supposed to learn it, but I still always say if I would have knew this at 20,
Oh man. Oh man. I think we had to be ready for this. You know what I mean? We weren't ready
we
at
wasn't.
20. Yeah. Yeah, and I think
Back
that's
in
how it
my
works.
20s, I was too busy trying to be Solomon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think most
I
young
had
males
one
are that way.
track.
Most males are that way.
I was
Yeah.
so stupid, man. I look back and like, man, all that wasted time and chasing something that didn't even matter, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all right, people. Well, I hope you got something out of that. I hope that opened your eyes. I hope that gave you some revelation. I hope that helps you in your studies. Um, and yeah, next week is going to be "Thou shalt not steal," commandment number 8, and we are moving along. And I am Akashik, the Ancient of Days. And for my brother Reedy, we will see you in the next video. Deuces.